9.
Now, Made in SG with Melanie Oliveiro on CNA 938.
Shaping Tomorrow, a Made in SG series, is brought to you by Nippon Paint, Singapore's most popular paint brand.
This is a special Made in SG series called Shaping Tomorrow. A warm welcome to you. I'm Melanie Oliveiro for CNA 938. Shaping Tomorrow features outstanding homegrown companies, how they became mega brands as Singapore too grew from strength to strength alongside them. Today, let's learn all about Nippon Paint Singapore, the paint brand and manufacturer of paints and coatings, and how it went from its humble beginnings to a multi-billion-dollar empire. Well, Singapore is celebrating SG60, our 60th year of independence. But did you know that in 1965, that is also the year that Nippon Paint Singapore established its very first manufacturing facility? So SG60 is also Nippon Paint SG60. Nippon Paint Singapore has been coloring our world, coating our homes inside out, as well as iconic landmarks like Changi Airport and commercial buildings, marine equipment, and used in the advanced manufacturing sectors, always with an eye for improving each product with odorless, antiviral properties, depending on the product, and also being more sustainable. And there's lots more to it. And when it comes to paint color varieties, there are more than 2,300 shades for you and I to choose from. For us everyday folk, there's also the Nippon Paint Color Visualizer app, a virtual painter guide, and the professional painting service as well. There's so much more going for this top local brand, so let's discover more from Daniel Tay, Head of Retail Sales, Marketing and Exports from Nippon Paint Singapore. Welcome to CNA 938, Daniel. Hi.
Hi, Mel. Thank you for having me here today.
And thank you for coming down. Much appreciated. Hey, Daniel, I like two-tone colored walls. So I went to the Nippon Paint Singapore website and I liked how one wall was painted in a shade called Dark Secret Blue. And then the joining wall was in Courtyard Green. So green and blue go very well together for me. That's why I'm wearing colors like that right now as well. What Nippon paint color would you choose, Daniel, to paint your own room?
Well, that's an interesting question. So recently we just did our new TV commercial. And on the set, on one side of the wall, it was pink.
Yeah.
And I'm not really a big fan of pink. But blush pink on white walls actually look quite good. So our set was painted one side pink and it looked really good.
Yeah.
So I will try that.
Blush pink, huh? Would it be more for your own bedroom, or would it be maybe for the dining room or someone else's room?
So when we painted the set, it was the living room.
I see.
And it actually looked really good on the living room.
Blush pink, huh? Okay, I will check out your app and see what exactly this pink is like. Let's also get a history lesson in Nippon Paint Singapore's beginnings and also clear some things up about the brand, right? Because a lot of people know it's a Singapore brand, but others also say, isn't it also Japanese because Nippon Paint? So the thing is that it was started by the Japanese in the 1800s, but in Singapore, it was founded by the son of a Chinese laborer and a washerwoman, very humble beginnings. It's very much like the Singapore story, yeah? So tell us about Mr. Goh Cheng Liang and how Nippon Paint Singapore is also a Made in SG brand. Can you paint a clearer picture for us, Daniel?
Sure. So, as you know, after the war, and I think Mr. Goh's history is actually quite common knowledge now, he started collecting like used paints from the British and he started mixing them himself. And to cut a long story short, they found that the imported paints don't really suit our climate very well. So he started to mix his own paints and started to do his own formulation to suit our local climate and humidity. And then in 1962, I think the Japanese Nippon Paint wanted to expand outside of their shores. So they got in touch with Mr. Goh and then he became the distributor of Nippon Paint in 1962. And then shortly after, 3 years later, we built the first factory, Nippon Paint Factory in Singapore, 1965. So this year, we're actually celebrating our 60th year anniversary of our Singapore factory, which is perfect because this is our 60th National Day celebration.
That's right. So the thing is that when he started establishing it proper in Singapore, that's how it became a local brand. It became Nippon Paint Singapore.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
So then the business grew, and then he expanded into Malaysia, into China, into as far as right now we have, our brand in Kazakhstan, Egypt, Turkey, and then the Japanese decided that, decided to acquire the whole business, and in exchange he got shares for the entire group, and Mr. Goh's family is the single largest shareholder of Nippon Paint Holdings.
Okay.
And it's listed in Japan.
There's quite a lot going for this brand, yeah, but still proudly Singaporean in many ways.
Yes.
Because of how innovative and creative he was in the beginning.
That's correct.
Especially when you said when it comes to our climate, the humidity and the heat that's coming in here, the paint has to be different. So yes, indeed, things have come a long way since Mr. Goh went full steam ahead with Nippon Paint Singapore in the olden days. So fast forward to today, can you tell us about some services that set you apart from the competition, like the Nippon Paint Color My World 2025 information kit that can be downloaded from nipponpaint.com.sg? Because many of us would like to know, you mentioned blush pink and everything, yeah? Where can we get the latest paint color trends? And I'm also wondering what colors are always trending nowadays in Singapore.
Okay, so we have a lot of color options. And as you said, you have over 2,000 options. And you can download our Color My World, which we update almost every 2 years. And on top of that, you mentioned we have a color visualizer app, which is great because for a lot of new homeowners that want to paint their walls, they might not know what color will fit their wall. But with the app, you can see for yourself what color it will actually look like on the wall with the app. So I really recommend your listeners, if they want to repaint and they're not very sure, to download the app on the App Store or, on Samsung, and then have a look on your walls to see what color suits you. And in terms of colors, I think we have a lot of color options, but probably the most popular shades are white and beige. Because at the end of the day, we're still very conservative.
Correct. It may be 60 years, but it's still white and beige, yeah? Okay, but I still want mine blue and green. The thing is that when it comes to using the app, we of course we open the app and through our camera, and then we just point it at our walls, is it?
Yes, you take a picture and then you can visualize what the wall will look like with the colors that you selected on the app.
I see. So we take a picture, not point it live at the wall and then choose the color.
Yes.
Okay, that's quite straightforward actually. Daniel, my father used to get my siblings and I to help him paint the exterior of our old house, and I remember him pouring the paint into the pan, and then we had to help him paint with the rollers and the paint brushes as well. Very, very good memories. Yes, it was a white wall. So do you have a story to share of a loyal customer or family, even a business, who has stayed with Nippon Paint Singapore for many years?
Oh, we have many stories like that.
Yeah.
We have staff that has been with us for 30, 40 years. And then we have dealers who have been with us for almost 40, 50 years. And then now they're moving on to the second generation. So the second generation is taking over the first generation of the shops. So we have many stories like that. And they have stayed with us because we have innovated along the way. We have catch up with the times. And our paints have proven popular with our audience and our homeowners. So it's a win-win situation for everybody.
Also, what many of us know about Nippon Paint is your mascot, because he's been around for decades and we've grown up with him in Singapore. He's the cute sumo wrestler, a man of few words. He grunts, and he grunts either in frustration sometimes or approval once he fixes the wall with the right paint. And he also tells us about the odorless paint, the stretchy paint that covers hairline cracks and more over the years, over the decades. But for businesses listening in, Daniel, who want to create a company mascot like the sumo wrestler, how does a mascot like the Nippon Paint sumo wrestler help draw people to the brand to get more attention to the brand, you see?
I think for businesses that want to adopt a mascot, I think you really need to understand your brand, and you really need to peel the layers back, and you need to find something that resonates with your brand, because the narrative is very important and the optics are also very important. So for us, the sumo is perfect for us because one, we are a Japanese listed company, and then two, sumos are known for their strength, and our paints are highly durable. It does the job. As you mentioned, it hides cracks. It does very well in our climate, which is very humid, and the heat as well. And so the sumo represents all this: durability, strength, and long lasting.
I think what's also important is that in order for them to appeal to people, because in a traditional sense, the sumo wrestlers that we see every day, we respect them. We respect them for their craft and their dedication, and because these are also athletes as well. But the thing with the Nippon Paint sumo wrestler, and I have a Nippon Paint cushion that you and I are going to take pictures with later, is that he's also lovable and cute. So that appeals to children all across the generations. And for people like me who've grown up with him as a child, is he?
Oh, that's perfect, the way you described sumo. So we recently just finished shooting our new TV commercial, and it's going to be out on air probably before the end of this July. And you will see that exactly, the sumo bow, it's strong, full of tradition and ceremony, but yet, he's very lovable, very friendly, and very approachable. And I think that represents us, because a lot of times you don't see the R&D and the technical aspect that goes into developing of paint. I mean, we've moved on from, just coloring our walls. We now have paint that actually, protects us against mosquitoes. We have paint that protects our walls, but yet at the same time, it reflects the sunlight. So it reduces the temperature in the buildings. So these have all spent long hours, research and development to create all these coatings.
Yeah, he's a representation of that, because he has to spend many years being a sumo wrestler and an athlete. So he's got to go through a lot of R&D himself as well. Let's talk about a loyalty program, maybe unique service or customer retention initiative that has really worked over the years. What about the professional painting service? Is that one of them?
So the professional painting service, we call it the PPS, is basically a service that our company provides to homeowners directly, that they can engage our painters to come to their house to paint. It's not really a loyalty program per se, but what it does is you pick up the phone, and then they will come and they'll do a survey of your property, and then they'll give you a quotation. But I think the beauty about the service is that it does all the messy jobs for you. So you don't have to move your furniture, you don't have to cover up your aircon, you don't have to cover your TV. Everything is done for you. So, and then they'll paint, and then they'll clean up. So that's painting service. But in terms of the loyalty program, we have two very successful loyalty programs. We have the DDD program for our painters, and then we have the Sumo Rewards for our designers.
Tell us more about that.
So every time the painters buy paint, they can scan points. It's a bit like how you go to supermarket, you buy your groceries, you can scan points. And with these points, they get rewards similar to that. And the Sumo Rewards are the same. So when the designers buy our paint, they get points, and then they can redeem those points for rewards.
And also, what's also very interesting that you'll tell us about later is that you're also helping the painters of tomorrow to be coached and taught properly how to paint. Because a lot of the painters that have stayed with you over the decades, like you said, Daniel, they need to retire. They're getting older. So you need to teach the next generation. So
as the market leader in paint and coatings in Singapore, we also recognize that there is a generation of painters that are retiring. And as you know, we depend a lot on foreign labor. But at the same time, we want to develop our own people to be able to paint well. So we've created a Painters Academy where we train our own painters, and we also provide training to external bodies to help them to train people up that wants to take up painting as a profession. Because Singapore has so many buildings and condominiums, and you also work with those interior designers, and there's so many surfaces to paint. And it's not just living areas and commercial areas, but other sectors as well. Daniel, Nippon Paint Singapore and the paint itself is not just about painting our walls and
walls of buildings like flats, condominiums and commercial buildings as well. There are other sectors that need specific paint coatings like the marine, industrial and advanced material manufacturing sectors. Can you tell us more and give us examples?
So we have gone beyond paint. So we do like protective coating, and also we do road line paint. So like some iconic buildings that you know are like Changi Airport has our protective coating, Tuas Port, Sports Hub, just to name a few. And then of course the iconic ones are Hill Street.
The Hill Street building.
Yes, the Hill Street building.
The multicolored windows, that's Nippon Paint.
That's Nippon Paint.
Wow.
Yeah. And of course our HDBs. And then we recently of the HDB color saga.
Oh yes.
Yes, but the good thing is that we weren't the ones that painted it purple. But now they're repainting it with our colors, which is great.
But you have purple.
Yeah, we have.
Okay. The thing is that I also wanted to know, because when it comes to the other sectors, we're talking about protective coatings. So we're talking about vessels and advanced manufacturing equipment, that kind of thing, yeah?
So it's quite a broad range.
Yeah.
So you have marine, which is like paints that go into your ships. And then you have anti-fouling paint, which basically paints that prevent the ship hull from getting fouled. Yeah. Fouling means like you don't want like shells and crustaceans being stuck on below the berth of your ship. And then from protective coatings, things like that covers your steel, your MRT tracks.
Yes.
These things are also uses our paint.
You know, because for MediaCorp, we used our car parks, right? Just used to be normal flooring when I parked my car. It was just cement flooring. And then 2 years ago, I noticed that the management of our estate services, they started coating our car park floors with paint, but it's a different kind of paint.
Yeah, so in layman terms, it's like floor coating, we call it.
Yes.
So the floor coating uses a different formulation than the one they use at home. So we call it epoxy flooring paint.
Yes.
So, and then it's getting very popular these days because it's very easy to apply. And also with the advent of EV cars coming up, a lot of parking lots need to have charging stations. And charging stations, the bay normally is painted a different color.
Yes,
blue.
That's right.
And then you have green, and then you have the disabled lot that is blue. So all these are all our coatings.
I also found that because there are still internal combustion engine petrol cars in Singapore, and indeed in MediaCorp that my colleagues and I drive, sometimes inevitably engine oil will leak onto the floor. And this particular coating makes it easier for our cleaning staff to just wipe it off, you see, as opposed to cement where it stains the cement, you see.
That's correct. So one of our features of our paint, whether it's on car park floors or on our walls, is we call our washability.
Yeah.
So we all have accidents, whether you have at home tomato ketchup or scarf marks, you can easily wipe it with cloth and it's back to new. Same as your car park. So rather than staining the floor of the cement or the floor of the car park, your cleaners can just wipe it and then it's gone.
Yeah. Because I had to send my car for servicing because it was leaking a bit of engine oil. So every day there was a patch. So I would come back the next day to see whether the patch has been cleaned up, and it's gone, you see, because of this coating that we're talking about. The thing is that Nippon Paint, indeed, painting our flats, landed property, condos, and the other sectors that we were talking about, the marine industry sector, Singapore has been building more homes over the decades, so more paint is needed. And we have discussed that, also used in those other industries that we have discussed. How else has Nippon Paint Singapore grown with Singapore during our 6 decades of independence?
So ever since our first government housing under SIT,
yeah.
I don't know whether you remember, but
yes,
before HDB was SIT.
Yeah, Singapore Improvement Trust.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then after that, you have our HDBs to now our BTOs and our condos and our private property. So we've been through all the years of Singapore's national growth, even through difficult times I don't remember the cable car crash.
Yes.
New World hotel when it collapsed.
All the 80s, yeah?
Yeah, and then like now to the SARS and to COVID. So we have also evolved with the country, and we have also developed paints to support our growth. So before it was really functional, paint the wall, get it nice. But now we have cool paints, solar reflective paints that keeps the building warm. And then during COVID, we launched Virus Guard, and then to basically, remove viruses. And then we also have coatings for clean rooms. And then we have coatings that, prevents mosquito from sticking onto our walls. We have our Mozzie Guard. So we have evolved with the nation.
Yes.
And then now, as people get more affluent, they are not looking for one-dimensional paint. They're looking for textured. So we are introducing textured paints. So paints that actually, you can actually feel the grain and the sand, which basically solves a lot of problem. For example, like, you have tiles falling off buildings, which is very dangerous. But now with textured paint, you can have the same effect of a tile, but it's a coating. And if you have round edges, you can't really tile a round edge. But with our texture coating, you can actually paint it and you get the same texture as a tile.
That's what I saw when I went to the Nippon Paint public exhibition last year at one of the hotels I was invited to.
Yeah, every year we do this. It's called our expo. And for our invited guests, we're going to do it this year again on the 23rd, the 24th of October.
Can I come?
Yeah, sure.
Because that's when your colleague showed me the textured coating paint, you see?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's where we launch new products to the industry. So architects will come, developers will come, our partners will come to see all the new products that we have.
And also a lot of everyday Singaporeans were there as well.
Yes, so the second day is mostly for our designers and our partners. So our dealers, our contractors, our painters, they will come as well, just to understand what's new, what's happening, so they can get, abreast with all the developments.
Yeah, and that's where I got my Nippon Paint cushion as well.
Yes, that cushion is very popular, by the way.
It is, yes. We're going to pose with it later. So yes, indeed, Nippon Paint is indeed a legacy brand, but it has to improve and innovate with the times, yeah, Daniel. How has Nippon Paint Singapore used digital tools, automation, new media, and or artificial intelligence to bring it to another level of excellence and productivity? You have mentioned it just now, but for the benefit of people who've just joined us after the news, because I do know there's the Nippon Paint mobile app, the color visualizer that we talked about. But what else is on the cards, like AI-powered color matching solutions, which you also have as well? So the thing is that what else are we looking at now?
So we're going to launch a new kiosk into our dealer network and our house or shop network. I can't really share too much of it because we don't want our competitors to know what we're doing. But bear in mind that with our new kiosk rolled out, ordering paint will be a lot easier and it will be adaptive. So watch this space. I'm sure nearby in the Nippon Paint store, you'll see our kiosk and then you can interact with that. Then, of course, we mentioned just now the color visualizer app, which is very, very popular. I think to date, we have like 400,000 downloads.
Wow.
You can download it from the App Store or the Play Store and basically tells you the color and how it will look like on your walls before you even buy the paint.
You just have to take that picture.
Yes.
And let the app do its work. And Daniel, one thing the Singapore Corporate Environment champions is corporate social responsibility, CSR initiatives. This is when businesses here, and of course other parts of the world, of course, but in particular in Singapore, we integrate social and environmental concerns and others involving their employees. What CSR initiatives does Nippon Paint Singapore embark on?
So as a market leader, we understand that we have a corporate social responsibility.
Yeah.
So I've initiated a number of programs to give back. So as part of SG60, we're also refreshing a lot of homes for the underprivileged. So if you go to our Facebook, you'll see some of the homes that we have refreshed. And some of them are very touching stories. So I really encourage your listeners to go and visit our Facebook, Nippon Paint, and on the videos and are all there. And on top of that, like what we mentioned just now, we have a Painters Academy. And we are training the next generation of painters. But we're not only training, able-bodied painters. We are working with Meta School, which basically is a school for special needs. So some of these kids, they are high-functioning, and they are training to be like aircon repairman, or some vocational. And we are partnering with them to train the next generation of painters, because I think a lot of caregivers worry very much, like what happens when they pass on, who's going to look after the kids. So we try to give them a livelihood so that they can stand on their own. And those who are learning a trade, we hope that they can learn to be painters, which we will need in the future anyway. So that's one of them. And obviously, we do a lot of community guest work. We are partnered with the Autism Association. We work very closely with them. Every year we give not only monetary support, but we actually give our time. So our staff volunteers at their programs on the weekends, and it's really voluntary, so we don't really enforce it. And they just do it out of their own volition. They give out their time, they spend time with the kids just to give the caregivers a break on the weekends.
Yeah. So
these are some of the things that we're doing. And then obviously a lot of this has been picked up by social media. So people have responded and said that, how can we collaborate? And in fact, recently we are working with Marine Parade CDC to refresh some of the less privileged homes. So at least we give them a refresh environment. But I do encourage your listeners to check out our Facebook and to see some of the things that we've done.
Yeah, nothing says it better sometimes with a fresh coat of paint at home, yeah?
Yes, and some of these homes, when we go to do the survey, it's in quite bad shape. You have mold, you have peeling, and it's not a great environment, right? But we do what we can to help them clean up and refresh their homes.
Good on you and your team. Daniel, of course, as we know, Singapore celebrates SG60, our 60th year of independence. Nippon Paint is celebrating Nippon Paint SG60 also to celebrate 60 years in Singapore. How else are you celebrating?
Oh, we have a lot of activities. So if you're following on our Instagram and our social media, and even right now I'm talking to you, right? So we have launched like a series of SG60 campaigns. We're going to launch our new TV campaign coming up. We have launched a series of SG60 videos with MediaCorp to promote our brand. And on top of that, we are collaborating with SG60 to refresh homes that needs help. So there are a lot of activities going on to celebrate our nation's 60th birthday, but as well as our factory's 60th birthday.
Definitely celebrating our 60th birthday, but keeping those who need a little bit more help in mind as well. Thank you, Daniel, for coming down.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Mel.
I appreciate your company, and good to see the man in person as opposed to seeing him on TV. So it's all good. Painting a pretty picture for us all about homegrown heritage brand Nippon Paint Singapore. I've been with Daniel Tay, Head of Retail Sales, Marketing and Exports from Nippon Paint Singapore. For more on this Made in SG household name, go online and check out the Shaping Tomorrow Nippon Paint Singapore story, like what Daniel said, at channelnewsasia.com/shaping-tomorrow. But remember, it's available to view from the 9th of July 2025. And also remember that the Made in SG Shaping Tomorrow series will be uploaded as a podcast on the Me Listen app and website. This is Shaping Tomorrow, a Made in SG series special on CNA 938, and I'm Melanie Oliveiro.
Shaping Tomorrow, a Made in SG series, is brought to you by Nippon Paint, Singapore's most popular paint brand.